Welcome to Business Today. I'm Siddharth Zarabi, and with me now, as part of our continuing coverage from the World Economic Forum in Davos, is another industry captain from India, Pradip Kumar, the Chairman and Managing Director of IREDA. Thank you very much, Mr. Das, for joining in. I want to dive in straight into the most important question, and over the last 2.5 days in Davos, we've been seeing this. This is the entire debate around clean energy. Our own goals as a country are extremely ambitious. Do you feel that some of the global context and a relook at climate goals that the United States is in some ways pushing can impact India's own plans and ambitions with regard to clean energy?
Yeah, thank you. I think you have asked multiple questions. It's not one question, which involve global economy, geopolitical conditions, and the renewable, as well as India's ambitions and all. It is not extremely ambitious target. Let me clarify that. It is ambitious target. When 485 gigawatt of RE and 15 gigawatt of nuclear was planned, 500 gigawatt of non-fossil, people at large, even global level, they used to look at what kind of target it is it doable and all. And when we have reached to 267 gigawatt of capacity of RE alone by this time, nobody believed that period. And if you look at our ministry had an announcement in the beginning of the year that we will be doing 50 gigawatt of capacity addition through bidding and other modes in due course of time. As a matter of fact, in 2025, 49.12 gigawatt was achieved. If you are planning for 50 and achieving 49.12 gigawatt, and that too, what the geopolitical conditions was there in January 25, vis-a-vis what we are having in January 26, quite different and complex. Geopolitical conditions since last 3-4 years, Russia-Ukraine conditions and other, and even new regime coming in US. We all know that things are moving in a quite unpredictable manner. Despite all this uncertainty, unpredictableness, if Government of India announced 50 gigawatt and we have achieved 49.12 gigawatt. And remember, it is not government who is facilitating the investment. They are only enabling it. It is the private sector who is developing it. Unlike fossil fuel, in this space, 80% of the developers are coming from private sectors. Remaining 20%, though they are from government sectors, but they are public sector undertakings. Mostly they are listed and A-rated borrowers, which are subject to best quality corporate governance and competition with private players. So in a sense, practically, if I am permitted to tell, it is purely developed by the private corporates.
No, you have made a very good point, and for the benefit of our audience, what Mr. Das here is saying that if you take, let's say, just the past 50 years, a bulk of India's energy needs were being supplied till some time ago by government-owned entities, and this new wave of renewable energy, clean energy, is now happening on the back of private sector investment. That's a very significant shift. As far as capital raising capacity is concerned, do you see the private sector being able to continue to pump in capital? Are there any challenges on the horizon that you see, not from your company's perspective, but as an industry expert?
See, we require almost 350 billions of US dollar equivalent funding for achieving the balance capacity to reach to the 500 gigawatt of non-fossil and to 485 gigawatt of renewable. Now 350 billion, certainly it's a very huge number, but 350 billion not by 2030. It has to be by 2028 or mid of 28 or 29. If you do the funding, at least they will take a year and a half to execute. So for a lender, the target is not 2030. The target is 2028 and 29. In that perspective, mobilizing 350 billion is a challenging task. But look at where the investment will come. If you look at the global context, the kind of RE growth what India has done in last 11 to 12 years, that's huge growth. If we take any industry for that business cycle, 5 years we consider as analysts or as corporate CEOs.
Yes, sir.
In last 5 years in RE, the CAGR capacity addition, CAGR growth is 22.6%. And no industry probably is having given that kind of growth of CAGR 22.6%, where largely private players are investing in it. First, government has enabled a perfect ecosystem, and that ecosystem is gradually getting matured.
Yes.
And in this investment, 100% FDI route is allowed.
Yes.
Now, we have been hearing since year and a half, even couple of years, that the FDI is not coming to India, this, that. But as far as RE is concerned, fair amount of sustainable ROI is there. Therefore, the private sectors are here. And in the time to come, down the line till 2028-29, irrespective of all uncertainties and all, we believe that fund can be mobilized. Since 100% FDI is allowed, particularly in the vanilla RE, that is solar, wind, hydro, we may not face any kind of challenge. But the emerging RE, which essentially requires patient capital, what patient capital means? In the infancy stage of the industry, we need to do a perfect hand-holding, not only by policy making, but also by giving a hand-holding approach through grants, subsidy, or incentives.
Yes.
To the industry gets started and moves from the infancy to a bit of adolescent stage.
Yes.
So that is what we call it a patient capital.
Yes.
And in the past, many global agencies and investors, they channelize their fund in those days which was emerging RE, which has become vanilla RE now.
Yes.
With that trust and belief, we think that in the time to come, the kind of sustainable governance in the economy has been laid down in last 11-12 years.
Yes.
And at least till 2029,
Yes.
we are having a stable governance in the country.
Yes.
And the indication what it is so far, as far as economic growth is concerned,
Yes.
15 years of sustainable governance and 15 years of industry, particularly RE, what kind of challenges, what kind of concern, despite that, the kind of quality asset we have built in the economy, I am confident the global investors, they will certainly believe and feel and trust in our economy.
Right.
And investing, because they consider this is one of the most safe zone for investing.
One of the other features that we have witnessed in the recent past is the fact that our capital cost of capital has been going down because interest rates have been lowered. How is that aiding the sector's growth and in particular also for your company's plans?
Yeah, absolutely. As and when we are moving from emerging to vanilla RE, the risk perspective with respect to the investment is getting reduced. So once the risk perspective is going down, as a lender, we eliminate that risk premium what we load in the initial phase of the sector when the sector gets de-risked. So in the vanilla RE, absolutely fair amount of information sharing is there. I can say otherwise also, there is very minimal asymmetry in information sharing. So therefore, perceiving the risk, identifying it, having a risk management in place, and then taking enough mitigation plan in place. Therefore, as the lender as well as the investors, they are trying to always coming to a win-win situation where the lender is reducing the risk premium and enabling them at a lesser rate.
Right.
So that is in the space of vanilla RE. Certainly when we look at emerging RE, be it base, e-mobility, storage, green hydrogen, green ammonia, which is very fast and very new and
Correct.
going to emerge very fast also. Particularly green hydrogen, if we talk about, today it is not economically viable. Therefore, government has brought in this National Hydrogen Mission scheme, in which they have earmarked certain kind of subsidies at initial stage.
Right.
If you look at the kind of growth what we require or opportunity available, today that kind of support may not be completely sufficient, but what government initially started,
Right.
as we move forward, as and when whatever would be required further, I am sure government is going to consider it. If I give another example of BESS projects, recent bidding is giving an indication that pricing with respect to the battery storage which is emerged through the bidding, the prices has gone down. Particularly at utility scale level, when the voluminous wholesale kind of battery requirement will be, size of battery requirement will be there. Fair amount of price reduction has already happened. And through this residential rooftop and solarizing the agricultural sector, there is going to be a revolutionary changes in the information sharing with respect to the energy usage and RE and its impact.
Okay.
When each and every household will know what is the value of RE and what is the smart way of using the power, so that they can minimize their cost and optimize their revenue. And the consumer is becoming a producer there, be it the agriculturist or be it the residential rooftop owner. So that is going to bring a fair amount of game changing with respect to creating a awareness. Then more and more awareness, more and more skilling will happen.
Okay.
And we are an economy where youth population and intelligent youth population is quite huge. We can translate and skill them, which will enable also a huge amount of job creation in the industry. So the sector which is giving 22.6% of CAGR in last 5 years growth, sector which is giving ROI at least IRR 10 plus above, and the sector if it enables the rural employment and which will enable unskilled, semi-skilled and skilled, all category of employment in this space, I am sure there will be a both supply side push and demand side push in the time to come. More and more the scale goes up, the affordability will come out. See, if you look at 10-20 years back, solar per unit used to be somewhere around 24, 20, 12, 15. Nobody ever thought of that we can come down to 2.5 to 3 rupees. At least 2.5 to 3 is the range now. And even...
and that is likely for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, so there is slight change in approach of now setting up the solar in the country, solar, wind, hydro in the country, because the basic inherent limitation in RE, that is intermittent nature, and with a specific time period.
Correct.
During the daytime, you get somewhere around 8 to 10 hours solar, and during that period, all the solar plants will generate power. Today, we have given the must-run status, so that all other thermal-based power, we are trying to ramp down, so that to have a grid balancing kind of thing.
Correct.
The kind of scale solar has grown, that has ensured the economy of the scale.
Right.
Similarly, technological innovation and scale that enable the price reduction.
Right.
Now the solar, wind, hydro, that will have a storage in combination. Therefore, this FDRE contracts or base storage, solar with storage, wind with storage, that kind of bidding is happening.
Okay.
So that the inherent limitation of solar of intermittent, that can be addressed.
Okay.
So that you generate, then you store, then you supply during non-solar hour.
Right.
Similarly, when you require to grow green hydrogen, there will be a quantum growth of RE. Accordingly, huge amount of green power will be required to make that hydrogen green. Today we are having grey hydrogen in the industry, in the economy.
But we
do not have green hydrogen. To transform it, it is not changing the color, just the name says like that, but there is a process change also.
Yes.
So, suppose you are having electrolyzers and electrolysis process, and then essentially you have to use the RE power to make it green power.
Right.
So, whatever RE power we are generating today for our consumption, further to generate green hydrogen and its derivative will be requiring further RE power also.
Okay.
So, the RE power's demand again will go up. And in case of green hydrogen, we cannot have intermittent power supply. We need to have continuous, uninterrupted supply.
Absolutely.
So round the clock power, that is the essence of green hydrogen growth. And once that scale picks up, like in the solar wind which it has come down, similarly we believe that technological intervention will happen, innovation will happen, green hydrogen which is not affordable today, that can become affordable.
Right.
Another main point is that when we wanted to speed up RE in this wind solar hydro, we had to adopt the technology from overseas. But as far as green hydrogen is concerned, we are almost at par or even slightly ahead about this.
That is one of the key things. This is a subject, fascinating subject, but I leave this conversation with the takeaway that while there is a pushback in certain parts of the world and there is a belief, as far as India is concerned, multiple separate levers within the clean energy, green energy space are being pushed, and it will take time, but the right policy mix and constant tweaks to policy basis the feedback from industry, basis the feedback from execution and implementation will be very, very critical to achieve our ambitious goals. But as Mr. Das told us, it's not very ambitious, it's already underway, it's happening. And for me, the most important headline that I want to leave you with is the earlier era of energy was a Sarkari era. This era is not just Atmanirbhar, but it is Atmanirbhar through private sector, and that in itself has multiple consequences and benefits. Pradip Kumar Das, thank you very much for your time. Yes.
I'll add to your part question which remained unreplied. We asked about my company, IREDA. I have not spoken. It's a privilege and pride for me in person to lead this organization at a crucial time when the organization was going down in the country, when the RE was going up. I joined in May 20, I remember. The company was having double-digit NPA and 7.18 of net NPA, and the loan book was only 23,000 crore in last 33 years. And in last 5 years, we have completely adopted the principle of Honorable Prime Minister and Government of India, reform, perform, transform. And the last tagline has given to us now is inform. I am here to inform to the rest of the world what is the ecosystem Government of India has built, how IREDA has done. If we did in 33 years only 23,000 loan book, and in last 5.5 years we have added 55,000 crore loan book. And with a reduced manpower, we had around 179 officers in March 20 when our book size was 23,000 crore. In March 25, we had 160 employees, book size was 76,000 crore. We have adopted digitization, automation, ease of doing business, and we are probably the only government organization who is doing business without a paper in our business center. It's a paperless office.
That Mr. Das, I think, is a fascinating end to the conversation, because yes, you're absolutely right. The IREDA story is also a story of renewal and fresh purpose that you have ignited. We are unfortunately completely out of time on this conversation, but we hope to come back with more. For now, I'm going to thank Mr. Das once again, and you, the viewer, will be back to stay tuned in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.